Greetings, AMC Theater fans. Welcome to AMC Theater Script to Screen. My name is John Campea. I'm the senior editor here at Script to Screen. And it is the day after the Oscars. The Oscars, which is my second favorite day of the year, right after Christmas. Which is not surprising since I'm a major film fan. And if you're like me, last night you were either at home and had some friends over, you were out at a friend's place and attending some kind of Oscar party. For me, it was kind of fun because I was off at my good friend Chris Tapley's place. Chris Tapley is the senior editor of awards website InContention.com. He's also a former writer for Variety magazine. And it was kind of funny because you had a whole bunch of film journalists sitting around. You had me sitting there tweeting and Facebooking throughout the whole event. You had Chris Tapley over there tweeting and Facebooking. You had Rebecca Keegan from Time magazine who was tweeting and updating for Vanity Fair magazine. So you had all of these film web people sitting around updating and doing their stuff. And we had a really good time. There was lots of food, lots of laughing, and most importantly, a really good Oscar show. Now let me just give you my quick impressions of the Oscars last night. To start things off, it was actually a very pleasant surprise for me to see Neil Patrick Harris. He's been doing a great job hosting other events, such as the Emmys and things like that, and it was kind of nice to see him there to that as well. Having said that, I'm not thrilled that they used him by having a song and dance number, but I'll get to that in a little bit. One of the biggest things about the Oscars this year, though, was the fact that they had two hosts, and I was thrilled when I first heard that the two hosts for this year's Oscars were going to be Steve Martin, who I think is the best host the show has had since Billy Crystal was hosting it every year in a row. And he was joined this year by Alec Baldwin. I had a feeling the two of them would work really, really well together on stage. And I know some people didn't like them, but I got to tell you, me and the room I was in, with the big group of people I was with, we loved them. We thought their opening monologue was terrific. We thought the little bits they did throughout the show were fantastic. I thought they were a hit. I thought they were a real hit hosting the show, and I really hope they come back and do it again next year. I'm actually a fan of them having different hosts every year, but I'm hoping they come back next year. But before I go on with all the other things that I really liked about the show, let me just talk about the thing that I really detested about the Oscars this year, and that was the ridiculous song and dance numbers. I don't tune in to watch the Oscars, and this is one thing where the Golden Globes do a much better job than the Oscars. I don't tune into the Oscars to watch song and dance numbers. I don't tune in to the big awards night for movies to watch song and dance numbers. And the one song and dance number in particular that was just dreadful and nearly killed the whole night was this ridiculous, awful, eye-gougingly terrible song and dance number where they played all the scores, the musical scores from the nominated films, and had people breakdancing to them. I remember at one point I tweeted, if you were following me on Twitter or Facebook last night, I tweeted, since when was there breakdancing in Sherlock Holmes? I just didn't understand it. Breakdancing to orchestral music. It was out of place. It felt really cheap and low budget. It was a waste of time. And I was praising the Oscars for the fact that they took out the performances of all the best song nominees. Because I think that's just a waste of time. I think you should just read the nominee list like every other category and present the award for best song. And yet every year they've dedicated about 20 minutes to the performance of each best song. But they took that out this year, and I praised them for that. I thought that was a great move. But they replaced it with this big song and dance number with the orchestra stuff. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was awful. And I really hope they listen and get rid of that for next year. One of the things that I really loved about the awards this year, too, was something they kind of continued on, just a different variation from last year, which was they had a group of people come out to individually highlight the nominees for Best Actor and Best Actress. I thought that was really classy. It was dedicating screen time of the Oscars to the nominees, highlighting the Oscars themselves and honoring the work they did this year. I thought that was a great move. I thought it was very classy, and I hope that that's a trend that they continue. As every year, the In Memoriam part is one of my favorite parts of the show. I think the Oscars always handles these montages of those who have passed away very, very well. Now, some people have been asking, why was Farrah Fawcett snubbed? A lot of people tweeted me and Facebooked me last night asking, where was Farrah Fawcett? Why was Farrah Fawcett not on that list? And the first thing that comes to my mind is this. And I'm not saying this is a good reason, I'm just saying. When you think of Farrah Fawcett, you don't think movie star. You think television star. You think Charlie's Angels. I'll be hard-pressed to mention more than 2 movies that she just had tiny, small roles in off the top of my head. I know she was in more films than that, but my one explanation is that probably they looked at her more as a television star than a movie star. Then why was Michael Jackson in it? when Farrah Fawcett was it? I have no explanation for that, but that's just my thought on it. There were a lot of great one-liners and quotes throughout the Oscars, but one of my favorite one-liners of the whole night was when Tina Fey, they were giving out the Best Screenwriting Award, and Tina Fey, who is a great writer, was presenting with Robert Downey Jr., an actor. And the two went back and forth about how sometimes writers and actors butt heads. And Robert Downey Jr. probably had the line of the night when he said, the movies are when handsome, gifted people work with sickly mole people. And I howled when I saw that. I thought that was terrific. Now, some people are talking about the ending of the film, or the ending of the Oscars, when Tom Hanks came out, and instead of rereading the list of nominees, just came out and said, and the winner of Best Picture this year is Hurt Locker. He didn't even, read the nominee list. Some people found that kind of jarring. I think they were just trying to save time, but I also don't mind it. They spent a lot of time during the Oscars highlighting each and every one of the 10 nominated films. I thought they did a fine job, and I had no problem with actually Tom Hanks just coming up and saying, hey, and the winner is. The whole night had been building up to that. Just list the winner. And I thought that was okay by me. But I can understand why some people kind of found that a little bit jarring. As far as Best Picture goes, I was shocked, really shocked, when Avatar didn't win the 2 sound Oscars. And when they both went to Hurt Locker, I remember all of us in the room were really shocked and surprised. And we looked at each other and we said, is there any doubt that Hurt Locker is going to win Best Picture? I think it's pretty clear. And, when it won screenwriting as well, the pattern was set. And I was really surprised that Avatar didn't win that. Equally surprised that Avatar did win cinematography. See, I thought Avatar would win the 2 sound ones. I didn't think it would win cinematography, so it was kind of weird that way. But ultimately, even though I believe Up, the Pixar film Up, was by far and away the best film of the year, if it had to come down between Avatar and The Hurt Locker was the right film to win. Avatar, which is a film I enjoyed a great deal and loved. Avatar had too many weaknesses, weak story, pretty weak dialogue, not really developed characters. There were just too many things that were weak about the film, or too many weaknesses to call it the best picture of the year. Even though I loved it and I'm happy it was nominated, out of The Hurt Locker and Avatar, the right film won. But listen, throughout the evening also, I was tweeting and Facebooking, and I had a lot of people tweeting me back, retweeting and messaging me through the night. I just wanted to read a couple of things that people said to me. In referring to the horror movie tribute, because at one point in the film, or in the Oscars, they did this montage highlighting horror films. And I mentioned, I said, this is weird that they're doing this horror montage, but it's kind of cool. And in the horror montage, one of the films I highlighted was Saw. And Stephen Thompson wrote in regard to that, he goes, "You saw it, folks. Saw is in the Oscars. It really happened." Next thing I kind of mentioned, I tweeted that it was kind of strange that Twilight was in the horror montage. And I tweeted, since when was Twilight a horror film? And Vicky wrote back and said to that, "Aren't you scared by the thought of sparkly vampires?" I thought that was pretty funny. But the thing that made me laugh the most tonight was when I tweeted about how much I hated the musical numbers and the breakdancing that was going on to orchestra music. Jack Reen wrote, "Jump, jump, jump, pack it up, pack it in. Can't you hear that song in the back of your head as this category is going on?" Which I thought was really funny and I laughed a lot. But listen, those are my impressions of the Oscars last night. I really enjoyed them. I love the Oscars, and last night did not disappoint me. They just need to get rid of the stupid song and dance numbers and breakdancing to orchestra music. Get rid of that, and it's almost a perfect show. I hope Martin and Alec Baldwin come back again next year. But leave your thoughts. What did you think of the show? What were you surprised at? What were you happy with? What things do they need to get rid of? What things do they need to keep? List them all in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm John Campea.